¿Cómo lo hacemos?
In a press conference, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador expressed that he would be open to it, reportedly saying, quote, "Violence is irrational, and we're going to continue looking for peace, to achieve peace, and that is what we're doing. And if there is an initiative of this kind, of course, we support it," end quote.
That was the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. The president of Mexico is pleading with the drug cartels and wants to make a peace treaty with them.
More than 100,000 people. That's how many people are missing in Mexico. Many of those are considered disappeared, meaning they went missing without a trace. No body, no evidence, likely victims of cartel violence. Mexico's president said he would support a peace agreement among cartel leaders in hopes of stopping the violence. This comes in response to an open letter from an activist who urged the cartels to police themselves and stop the killings. Joining me now is News Nation's Evan Lambert. And Evan, Mexican President Obrador campaigned on a non-confrontational way of dealing with the cartels, promising hugs, not bullets. It hasn't worked to curb any of the violence. What's his latest idea?
Elizabeth, it's significant, his idea, because it's a pretty strong admission that what he's done so far just isn't working. This week, Quiroga, now an activist, wrote an open letter to the leaders of the most violent cartels in Mexico, pleading with them to stop making people disappear. That's not just killing them, but brutally getting rid of their bodies through burning or dissolving them in acid.
Informar cómo lo hacemos.
In a press conference, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador expressed that he would be open to it, reportedly saying, quote, "Violence is irrational, and we're going to continue looking for peace, to achieve peace, and that is what we're doing. And if there is an initiative of this kind, of course, we support it," end quote. Amid the ongoing violence, relatives of the missing are protesting in Mexico City, demanding justice. While just a few hundred miles away in Guadalajara, authorities discovering 45 bags containing human remains. Across the country, the number of deaths continue to skyrocket, according to government figures. While López Obrador's administration has had control, more than 30,000 people have been killed yearly, and 40,000 plus have gone missing since he took office. López Obrador didn't elaborate about what kind of agreement he'd like to see with the cartels. Delia, the woman that we spoke to, says she is not even optimistic that any deal will actually be agreed to.
That was the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. The president of Mexico is pleading with the drug cartels and wants to make a peace treaty with them. What does that tell you? That tells us that he's not in control of his country. And who are these people in this cartel? Where are they getting their arms from? Who's supplying them? This cartel controlled by Communist China, who's supplying them with arms to control Mexico. Mexico on the U.S. southern border. These are the people that are running over our borders freely. We have no southern border. So what that tells me is we're being invaded by China, the proxy of Mexico. There is no Mexico. The Chinese are invading the U.S., have taken control of the cartels. Cartels are working directly for Communist China. We're being invaded. This gives the U.S. every right to go in there and stop this now. President Obrador can't say a word because he's in fear of his life. Joe Biden is allowing it to happen. This is aiding and abetting the enemies. They're allowing them to get away with this. Why is everybody sitting by and doing this? It's the whole executive branch, including the top echelon of our military. Are they compromised? What do we, the people, have as legal recourse? Why would law enforcement stop Americans from going to that border and defending it ourselves? What is the National Guard doing? You understand the predicament we're in. Mexico is no longer controlled by a legitimate government. It's controlled by a cartel, controlled by the enemies of the United States of America, Communist China. They're waging war